First Maccabean, chapter 17. The peoples of Amalek and Edom do not worship God, whose authority rules over heaven and earth. They are corrupt and do not live in truth, and they do not fear to defile his dwelling, the temple. There is no fear of God among them. They are given to shedding blood, adultery, eating what is unclean, or sacrificed to idols. They practice all things that are defiled and are counted among the sinful. They have no virtue or righteousness. They hate what is good and do not know God or the works of love. Instead, they are devoted to theft, corruption, harming others, wicked practices. They delight in entertainment and indulgence, following the ways taught by their father, the devil. He rules over them with his hosts, demons, and teaches them all forms of evil, robbery, sin, falsehood, greed, consuming what is unclean, and immoral behavior. He teaches them adultery, violence, envy, greed, and every kind of evil that God hates. The devil, their enemy, teaches them these things to separate them from the law of God, who rules the world. But the works of God are different: innocence, humility, peace, love for others, unity among people. Do not be hypocrites or show favoritism. Do not be unjust, thieves, immoral, or violent towards others. Do not deceive, mock, or provoke others into evil. Do not mislead people or lead them into destruction and eternal judgment. That is the end of chapter 17. Chapter 18. Understand this: you will go into death before God, in whose hand all things exist. You will stand before him, and he will judge you for all the sins you have committed. Those who were arrogant and powerful in the past, even those stronger than others, did not acknowledge God because they saw their own strength and authority. They forgot their Creator, who brought them from nothing into life. Their ancestors, who were like angels, once praised God on the holy mountain, but when they were led astray, they descended into this world, where final judgment is carried out forever. In ancient times, God created human flesh for them to test whether they would keep his law. But they followed their desires and took wives from the descendants of Cain. They did not keep God's law, so he cast them into the fire of Gehenna, along with their leader, the devil. God was angered by the descendants of Seth, who became corrupt like ordinary people, and because of their sin, human lifespans were shortened. They led the children of Adam into sin, and God brought them down to Sheol, where they would receive judgment. Because of this corruption, human lifespan was reduced from many hundreds of years to about 120. Since humanity became fleshly and corrupt, God said, "My spirit will not remain with them forever." Because of sin and wrongdoing, lifespans were shortened from those of the ancestors and even from the youth. People now face death. The ancestors lived longer because they kept God's law and did not anger him. They disciplined their children, teaching them to follow righteousness and not to break God's law, because they upheld the law. With both their sons and daughters, their lives were extended. That is the end of chapter 18. Chapter 19. As the descendants of Cain increased, they developed music and entertainment, drums, harps, instruments, songs, and games. Beautiful and attractive children were born among them. Cain took a woman connected to his brother Abel, whom he had killed, and he took what belonged to him. Leaving his father's presence, he went westward and settled in another region. His descendants were beautiful, like their mother. Because of this, the descendants of Seth were drawn to them. When they saw them, they did not hesitate. They took these women as wives. Through this union, they were led into error together, because of this corruption, God became angry with them. The adversary deceived them, saying, "You will become like God." In this way, he led Adam and Eve into error. Believing this deception, they broke God's law, the one who created them from nothing, who was worthy of worship and praise. God humbled Adam and Eve because they tried to make themselves like God. He brought down the one who was arrogant. As it is written, Adam fell because of the arrogance of the adversary. God judged them justly for that deception. In the same way, the descendants of Seth fell into sin through the descendants of Cain. Because of this, human lifespan was shortened compared to earlier generations. Yet their ancestors had done what was right. They kept their minds focused on God, they taught their sons and daughters, and they protected them from abandoning God's law. Because of this, no evil overcame them. But even good works alone are not enough if they are not passed on to the next generation. As David said, they did not hide these things from their children, but declared God's praises and his mighty works. Good works alone do not endure unless they are taught and continued. Those who taught their children from an early age did not break God's commands. They learned worship and the law from their fathers. Their children learned to do good, praise their Creator, keep his law, and to love him. God hears their prayers and does not ignore them. He is forgiving. Even when his anger increases, he shows mercy. He does not destroy everything in his judgment. That is the end of chapter 19. Chapter 20. My brothers, reflect on this. Do not forget what has been told to you before. God preserves the works of those who do what is good. He multiplies their descendants in this world, and their name will endure for good throughout eternity. Their children will not lack food in this life. He will defend them and will not hand them over to their enemies. He will deliver them from those who hate him. For those who love his name, he will be their helper in times of trouble. He will protect them and forgive all their sins. That is the end of chapter 20.